Hello, and welcome to Why Did My Builder Do That? The weekly podcast that will answer your questions about home design, home building, and much more. Of course, we will be asking, why did my builder do that? But sometimes we will ask, why didn't my builder do that? Or, will my builder do that? Or even, does my builder know about this? Each week, we will tackle new questions and hopefully provide insight into designing, choosing a builder, building, financing, and even maintaining or remodeling a home. From time to time, we will be looking at why or how something went wrong, but we will be asking about new building products and new building techniques. Along the way, we will also be talking about building standards and warranties. We invite you to email us questions, and we will make every effort to include them in future podcasts, or at the least, we will send back information or a comment on your questions. Email us at WDMBDT@gmail.com. Why would my builder do that? Join us now for Why Did My Builder Do That?
Hello and welcome to Why Did My Builder Do That podcast. Your host once again, Gary Dunn with Custom Home Building Consultants, and myself, Joe Bronson.
Hi, everybody.
With Home Central Realty. Hi, Gary. We're going to walk through items in regards to, is it under warranty when it comes to your builder's warranty? So we'll ask a few questions. We'll talk about a few things that have been sent in by you as interested parties. And also just to let you know that we have webinars posted on our website that you'll be able to go in and take a look at and see if you would like to move forward and look at those and learn a little bit deeper dive into several of our topics that we end up having. So please take a look at our website, and we'll mention all of those items again at the end of our podcast today, so you know where to go and to look.
Joe, thanks. Here's the first one.
Yeah, Gary, and I know that we talked about, is it under warranty, but what exactly are we looking at here?
Well, we've got some different conditions. One, in this top corner, we have concrete that's separated and lifted. Over on the right-hand side, we have something called spalling, which the top surface of the concrete is coming off. And down here, you're just seeing a long crack in the concrete. So as you move into your house and move into your warranty period with your house, you're going to experience or potentially experiencing some of these things. One thing that they say about concrete is it's guaranteed to crack. When concrete subcontractors install concrete, they purposely create things called control joints. That, if you can see that's a control joint in the concrete. The hope and desire is to create an area where the concrete will crack within the confines of that control joint. But that's not always the case. As you can see here, that wasn't a control joint. That concrete just cracked and separated. There are standards for these issues that your builder will have established within it the context of his warranty. You need to be aware up front what these are. Essentially, a crack should never open up more than 1/4 of an inch. And the lift should never be more than 1/2 an inch. Now, your builder might have a more stringent or a less stringent code, but you need to be aware of that, because as they observe your reporting of a warranty issue with concrete, they're going to be looking at this. Spalling is typically caused by the introduction of salt to concrete. It's the result of a repeated freeze thaw on the surface of the concrete that tends to have that top layer of concrete be removed. I know the typical answer here by 99.9% of homeowners is, I never put salt on my concrete. And that's true. We believe you. You didn't. but your automobile brought salt in from the road, and that is probably what's causing this issue. That's not to say there may not be a structural underlying problem, poor mix of concrete, and so forth. But if anybody tells you that it's possible to pour these things and never have these things happen, they're not being honest with you. Concrete is poured out in the elements. It's subject to temperature, humidity, wind. All of those issues have an impact on concrete and the finishing of concrete. And so your builder and his concrete subcontractor have done everything they can to try to give you the best, most durable concrete that's possible. But sometimes these things happen. Actually, there are some builders in our area that won't even pour concrete driveways anymore because these issues are common, and they just won't even be involved. Even though their warranty said they weren't warranting it, homeowners were unhappy about it, and consequently, they just decided not to ever offer it again. So, is it under warranty? Somebody's going to have to check, and it's going to be dependent on those standards. Here's another one, Joe.
Oh, geez, Pete. I don't even want to think about what's going on here.
Well, we've probably all experienced at one time or another in our life where we've stopped up the toilet. But if it's repeatedly happening and not flushing, there could be an underlying problem. Very infrequently, it could be a problem with the toilet itself, but more than likely, it might be a downstream problem in your sewer system that's creating a backup. And a lot of times these things occur, and then you clear them, and it doesn't occur again for quite some time. And what's happening is your pipe may have just a small rise in it of some kind, or a small piece of drywall mud that's hardened in the pipe, or whatever. And what can occur is toilet paper and what have you gets hung on that and builds essentially a dam, and over a period of time, now your pipe is stuck or backed up. So most often, unless it's just one of those infrequent things, this is going to be under warranty, and your builder is going to take care of it.
Well, that's good to know. Oh boy,
here's a different issue.
I think a lot of it, yeah, and a lot of us, obviously have concerns about water wherever it might be, whether it be on our main floor, our basement, or whatever the case may be. So what are we seeing here?
Well, this is one of the absolute most frequent things that happens to homeowners, and consequently then warranty claims to builders, and that is what they were told was a frost-proof hose bib actually froze and bursted, and now we have water in the house. And the problem is the homeowner left the hose on, which doesn't allow the process of the frost-proof hose bib to operate properly. And so consequently, we have live water right out at the spigot, subject to freezing. So a lot of builders have gotten to the point where they absolutely send out every year an email blast to their homeowners to say, remember to take those hoses off. But if you have this occur, one of the very first things to check is, did I leave my hose on? And if I did, that's going to be on you. That's not going to be warranted. So always good to know what's happening there, and make sure you never leave hoses on in the wintertime.
Such a simple fix to make certain that it doesn't happen. Wow.
That's right. This isn't a fuzzy, woolly mammoth here.
I'm looking at this furry thing, and I was just going to say, this furry thing, oh my gosh, is it under warranty? But more importantly, what is it?
Well, that's your furnace filter, and it's filthy dirty. And again, heating contractors report that this is one of the most common things in new builds, that they get a service call to come out because the air conditioner's not working, or the house isn't, the airflow is not adequate. And what's occurring is the filter is just completely clogged, and so you've blocked airflow. If it's in the cooling cycle, you can actually cause your coil in your furnace to freeze up because there's not enough airflow going through it. In new construction, I would recommend that you replace your furnace filter at least every other month for the first 6 months, because even though you can't necessarily see it, there's a lot of airborne dust in your house left over from construction, and your furnace system keeps circulating that, and your filter's doing the job. It's trapping it, but it's having a negative effect on your system. So this wouldn't be warranted. You might even end up with a service call if the heating contractor has to come out and find out that your filter's dirty. So the very first thing to check, if you're having those issues, poor airflow or you're not getting any cooling, is to check and see, oh, yep, we haven't replaced that filter. We better get on that. That doesn't mean there aren't potential for problems with your heating and air conditioning. But again, this is one of the most common, easy things to prevent and not have that warranty call. Got another situation here.
Yeah, this just looks dangerous. I can only imagine what all is going to be happening with having that stuff plugged in.
What I want to show here is just to show an example of overloading a circuit. That can happen. Each electric circuit is on a circuit breaker, and there's only so much electric demand that can be drawn from that circuit. The most common issue is with what's called your GFCI, which is your ground fault interrupted circuit, which is designed to protect you. All of your kitchen and bath outlets, your basement outlets, and your garage outlets are all GFCI. And what happens a lot is people plug in too many items in that single circuit, and that GFI breaker does its job and breaks the circuit, so no electricity is flowing. It's very important to not install things like garage refrigerators or freezers into these circuits, because it's so easy to overload that circuit with those and then lose hundreds of dollars worth of food because you thought your refrigerator was running and it in fact wasn't. So again, one of the first things to check is, are we overloading a circuit? Have we blown a GFI circuit? And do we have too many things on it? Hair dryer, curlers, or in the kitchen, am I trying to run a toaster and a blender and an air fryer all off the same outlet? And if you are, you're causing a real problem that needs to be dealt with. The good news is the breaker breaks the circuit, so you're not overheating or causing a dangerous situation. It's just more of an aggravation. But we don't recommend doing this regardless of your situation, overloading a circuit. So just be careful of those things. We got another one here, Joe.
Well, again, what are we looking at here? Because it certainly doesn't look right.
That's for sure. I mean, the first thing we're going to notice is probably a small amount of water coming into our ceiling. And it's running along the seam of my drywall, because water will always take the least resistant path to come in. So it's never a good thing to have water coming into the house. The issue is why is it coming in? And in this particular case, we're showing some damaged shingles here. And again, we're not trying to play gotcha here for homeowners, because this could have easily been a poor installation job or damaged during construction by someone being on the roof, but it also can be damaged by storm or some other circumstance. So as part of your walkthrough, you should make sure that you observe your roof to the best possible to make sure there aren't areas that are blatantly damaged like this. That may be difficult sometimes when it's a very high roof and difficult to see. But when you have the experience, and hopefully you never do, but if you have the experience of a roof leak, it may be a warranted item and it may not. So Your builder is going to research that and hopefully report it to you either, yes, hey, we need to repair that, or B, we can repair it, but there's going to be a cost associated with that because it was damaged by a storm, which in that case, you can claim it on your insurance and get that paid for at that point in time. So not always clear whether it's under warranty or not.
Oh, I think all of us would notice this situation, and clearly doesn't look like it would be something that any of us would want in our home. What's going on here, Gary? And would it be under warranty?
There's a couple of issues here, and we would have hoped that the homeowner and the builder would have noted this during what's called the walkthrough before the homeowner moved in. But in this case, that didn't occur, and the homeowner noticed this after being in the home for a short period of time. And there's several things going on here. One, there's no caulking whatsoever between this joint of the vertical and horizontal countertop. This was caulked, and it just an abhorrent job, terrible job. This was caulked, and again, not done very well. And and then we have a crack down here between the cabinet and the wall. So a lot of things going on here that were done very poorly and finished very poorly that most definitely should be corrected. Over here, there's no splash on the side of this countertop, and that just simply can't happen because you have water introduced here could just get into this wall. This is supposed to have a splash. So both of these things are legitimate problems that should be dealt with by your builder. So, and down here I've listed a couple of standards from our local BIA. There's not supposed to be a gap more than a 1/4 inch here, and this is obviously much greater than that. This is almost a 1/2 inch, if not larger. So, I mean, not only is it unsightly, but it's just fundamentally outside of the standards of the industry and needs to be corrected. Joe, we'll definitely dedicate future podcasts to many more questions of this nature, and welcome anybody sending us questions about issues that may or may not be warranted in their house. How do they do that?
Well, you're right. And thank you, Gary, for all the great explanations that you provided when it comes to warranty items. The best way that someone can send us questions when it comes to warranty or any topic that they'd like to know about, they can send us an email to WDMBDT@gmail.com. That stands for Why Did My Builder Do That @gmail.com. So you can send in your questions or comments, anything topic-wise when it comes to construction of your home, and we'll do our darndest to get back to you as quickly as possible to answer questions, or for that matter, if it's a question that looks like it might be a great idea to inform and instruct other people, whether it be in a form of a podcast or a webinar, stay tuned, because you just may see a podcast built around your question. And again, I want to just mention the fact that we will have and do have webinars on our website that you're able to go in and take a look at, and take care of the process that it'll instruct you to do on the site, as to be able to see those webinars. It'll be a much deeper dive, much more explanation as to items to be knowledgeable about. And in this case, I want to once again thank Gary, my co-host, in being here today and walking through our process. And again, look at our website to see that we'll have other podcasts coming out soon. And we hope you have a great week.
Hey, thanks, everybody.